Hey, how you doing, guys? I'm going to come at you today with the Sega Genesis collection. Just so you know, when I bought a lot of these games about a year and a half ago, I was working about a good 70 hours a week, so I didn't have a lot of time to actually play them. So I'll be honest and say if I didn't play it too much, so take that for granted when it comes to these reviews. With that in mind, let's jump into it. I'm going to do this in two parts. I got about 50 box games over here right now. Next review, next part I'll have about next 50 plus some card onlys. But let's jump into it. First up, Aladdin. Aladdin's an extremely good game. It looks really good. The music's quite good. As it's a licensed game, though, the later levels, they suffer a bit. The first half of the game is actually quite fun, really good. The second half, it does have some problems. The screen doesn't really follow you. The platform elements aren't really that solid anymore. Overall, though, it's actually quite good. It does suit Aladdin really well. The music and characters look fucking great. Alex Kidd. I only played this for a couple minutes. It didn't really impress me too much. It didn't look awful. The graphics looks pretty bad. It almost looks like a Sega Master System game. Again, haven't played it much. Oh, Alien Soldier. This is actually a reproduction cartridge. I don't really have too many of those. This game was originally released on the Mega Drive, both in Japan and Europe. It never actually came over to America. This game is fucking fabulous. Really, this is a contender for best Sega Genesis game ever made. I don't say that lightly. Let's put up some gameplay over here. This game it's great. The graphics are good, the music's great, the controls are out of this world, really. For 3 buttons, you can do so much. You can jump, you can double jump, you can teleport, you can switch your weapons, you can change the way you shoot. If you're just standing still, you shoot in all directions, or do you want to move around and shoot? You have a choice of, like 6 weapons? Like 25 levels, 25 unique bosses. Really bloody amazing game. I can't praise this game enough. One of the best games on the Genesis, easily. Alicia Dragoon. I haven't played this one too much. I got to about level 6, I'm going to have to say. This was a very, very early release game on the Sega Genesis, and it does show that graphically, and the gameplay itself was... You see some early mistakes. It's not perfect by any means. But with that in mind, the graphics do look quite good. They're unique and everything. Overall, it is a fun game. I don't have anything against it. A little more polish on it would have made it a lot better, though. Altered Beast. Fucking game right here. I'm sure a lot of people who've had a Sega Genesis know this game off the top of their head. It's an extremely good beat-em-up. Very basic, too. Very short. It's what, about 5 or 6 levels? And the levels themselves are only about 2 or 3 minutes if you collect all the power-ups quick enough. Overall, really fun game, really solid. It's a very cheap game. It needs to be in your Sega Genesis collection. Even if you're just a beginner collector, this is one you gotta look up. Good controls, good sound, good graphics. Beyond Oasis. This is one of those games I didn't play too much of. Popped it in for a few minutes, made sure it worked. It looked like it was a good game. The controls were nice. The colors were pretty good. A little bit bland, but again, it was just the beginning. It kind of looked like an action-adventure. I want to say kind of like Zelda, but not really. You know, it was his own thing, but if I had to compare it to something. It looks good, and I definitely look forward to actually playing it a little bit more. Blaster Master 2. This wasn't very good, I'll be honest. The first Blaster Master on Nintendo was pretty good. It had a bit of a unique feature where you can go inside of a tank, or you could go out and just be your own little guy and solve little puzzles. I only got to like level 2, but this game, it definitely was nowhere near as good as the original. The sound wasn't good. The graphics were very bland. I can't recommend it. Tiny Toons, Buster Bunny's Hidden Treasure, is that what it's called? Yeah. This game was actually one I had when I was like a little kid, and nostalgia might affect my opinion of the game, because I actually found it to be really good. It's kind of like Mario 3. It has a ton of levels, a lot of secrets. Overall, it's a unique and fun game. One thing I didn't really like, though, is to run, you had to just keep walking straight. Similar to Sonic, but it wasn't handled as good. It's kind of hard to put into words, but if you play it, you'll know what I mean. Overall, it's a very fun game, though. I actually recommend it. Castlevania Bloodlines. Bloody hell. See? Bloody hell. Get it? Get it? Really good Castlevania game, honestly. I'd have to say it's up there with, like, Castlevania 4. And that's a good game. Again, I haven't played this too much. I got a few levels in. Played it for a good hour or two. I haven't beaten it yet. Unique things, you can actually pick between two characters. I forget their names. Sorry. You got your normal Belmont, and then you have a guy with a lance who could like high jump and access special areas much easier. Really fun game. I'm looking forward to playing it more. But definitely recommend it. Castle of Illusion. For the life of me, I cannot get this cartridge to work. I have tried everything. This is one of the few games I cannot get to work. I have played the HD remix of it, though, on Steam. Not remix, remake. And that was really good, so if the quality of that is anything like this, I would highly recommend it, but I need to find a new cartridge. Which sucks. Shakan. The controls on this game are really good. The music definitely sounds like it from Sega Genesis. It sounds like the Sega Genesis, just trust me on that. Very hard game. I can't quite recommend it, honestly. The game is just, it's so hard, and not in the fun way. It's cheap, so it might be worth looking into, but personally speaking, I don't like it. Chicka Chicka Boys. This game's actually quite fun. It's a little on the easy side, and unfortunately there's no way to make the game a little bit harder. It's kind of like an arcade platformer. You can power up your character with money and stuff. A really fun game. I highly recommend you check it out. But it's not very hard, and it's actually not even challenging. I beat it on my first try all the way through. It is fun, though. Chuck Rock, a below-average platformer. It's pretty crap. Columns. It's Tetris on the Sega Genesis, pretty much. I don't really like these games too much. That's just my personal preference. But you can pretty much just match up jewels disappear, blah, blah, blah. Ooh. Comic Zone. Holy shit. I love this game. This game will kick your ass the first few times you play it. But it's so fun. Good controls, great music, good design, really fucking good game. It's short, at only 3 stages and 2 levels per stage, but really, really fun. The game does have a good difficulty to it, too. The good kind of difficulty. Really fucking good. You gotta check this game out. It's still not too expensive on the Genesis. Like, a card only should cost you probably like $10, maybe even less than that. Really good game. Really worth getting into your collection. Contra Hard Corps. I've had this game for so long and I still can't beat it. Every time I play it, I get like 1 level further, but this game just keeps kicking my ass. Like, damn. It's really fun, though. Again, really good graphics, good design, good sound. Really great. You can pick. You get to pick between what was it, 4 or 5 characters, and they all have their own unique power-ups and stuff. Bloody great. It also had a branching path system, which added a lot of replayability. So there's a lot of extra levels to see. Really, really good game. It is hard. And I play a lot of hard games, so I know what I'm talking about. Cool Spot. This is another kind of below average game. Not awful, it's not as bad as Chuck Rock, but not fabulous either. I wouldn't go out of my way for it, but if I seen it for like $1 or $2, I would pick it up. Decap Attack. This is a game I would really like to recommend, but it has some flaws to it. The control is very slippery, and I don't know. I mean, I want to recommend it. I like playing it a bit, but at the end, the graphics are good, the sound's good, the control's really off in my book. Maybe you get used to it more when you play it, but it's so close to being like a really, really good game. It's definitely worth a look. It's still really cheap, but personally, this is close, very close. On the other hand, Dick Tracy's nowhere near close. It's god-awful. Just take my word on that. This game is awful. It's awful. It gets 3 awfuls. What we got here? Ernest Evans. Oh my god. Ernest Evans. You know what? Gotta show a video of this. This game looks just so fucking weird and strange. It's like Indiana Jones. The graphics are actually really good, surprisingly, believe it or not. Your whip attack is so sporadic and crazy, though. It's... wow. It's bad. It is really, really bad, but it's entertainingly bad. So, dirt cheap. If this looks entertaining to you, you might want to check it out. Really, you can get a cartridge for like $3 or so. It's awful, though. Really, bad. Echo the Dolphin. I am god-awful at this game, but it's not a bad game. It's just really, really hard, and the controls aren't very good. It's unique, but not really for me. Actually, I don't think I've ever talked to someone who beat this game or got far in it. But, not bad. Elemental Master. I actually really enjoyed this game. It's a, shmup. No surprise there with my collection. But it's actually quite entertaining. You got, I believe you started with between 4 or 5 levels you get to choose from. And every time you kill the boss there, you gain a new power-up that you would permanently have on your character. Which is really nice. You were able to constantly switch between your weapons, even if you got hit or got killed. Really fun game. It was a decent difficulty. I actually recommend this quite a lot. I don't believe it's too expensive yet. I think it's like $10 or $20 for the cartridge. eSWAT. A bit of a platform adventure game, action adventure. Did I just call Sega Genesis game an adventure game? God. Imagine a very toned down Contra game. And that's pretty much it. After every level you gain like new power-ups, new weapons. Later on you gain like a power suit. Not fabulous by any means, but it is decent. It's not worth too much. I mean, it's worth a look. That's what it's worth. Fatal Fury 2. Haven't played it too much yet. I wonder if this was the ones where you like jump between the two platforms. I didn't really like those older ones. Flashback. I'd actually recommend you check out the Sega CD version of this game. It's much better. Flashback is a cinematic adventure game. It's quite good. It's not my favorite of the genre. I definitely prefer Out of This World, which we'll get to in a little bit. But not bad. Again, really cheap, easy to find game. It's fun. Graphics are good. It has a really nice like opening cinema. Really shows what the Genesis can do. Can't pronounce it. Gyres, G-Res, Gures, who the fuck knows? A decent shoot 'em up on the Sega Genesis. Not really my favorite or my specialty. One interesting thing about this is you could actually absorb the powers from enemies, and then once you absorb it enough times, you would actually gain that power for yourself, which is how you'd gain new attacks and stuff. That was interesting and all, but I didn't really get into it too much. I played a few levels, and it's fun and all, but not really for me. General Chaos. This was a really early strategy, an action strategy game, actually, unlike Shining Force. Really good game, honestly. You had to command your troops, you had like a flamethrower guy, rocket launcher, machine guns, grenades. Really fucking good game, really solid gameplay. Even if you're just playing against a computer, they put up like a really good challenge. Sometimes they're a little cheap, but overall, this is an extremely good game. Not too many people know too much about it. I don't really know the price of it. I don't think it's going to be too expensive if you're looking for it. Really good. I'd actually highly recommend it. Stacks and stacks of games. Ghostbusters. This isn't a particularly amazing game. I know it gets a lot of good reviews from people, and I don't really hate it, but I guess I read so many reviews on it, I thought it was going to be a lot better. I was kind of expecting it to be almost as good as Contra. It's really not. It's not bad. I'm just being a little harsh on it, truthfully. Pretty decent game. It's a platformer. You have to capture ghosts. I mean, it's Ghostbusters. You gain a lot of power-ups. You get to choose between 3 characters. Not bad. I'm being harsh. Especially considering it's a licensed game. It's good for a licensed game. It's fucking great for a licensed game. Ghouls and Ghosts. This is probably the furthest I've ever gotten in a Ghouls and Ghosts game. I got to the part where you actually had to restart all the levels, which for me is a win. Fuck it. I got almost to the end of the game. Halfway. It's complicated. Really fucking hard game. These games are not easy at all. Ghosts and Goblins, Ghouls and Ghosts, they'll kick your ass over and over. It's kind of frustrating, but you keep coming back. Controls are good, graphics are good, sounds good. Actually, the controls, they're hard. Recommended. Golden Axe. Classic beat 'em up. Bloody awesome. I'm sure you know about that. Golden Axe 2, same category. Actually, I haven't played the second one too much, so I'm assuming it's as good as the first. I'm going on one of my assumptions. Oh, God, I had this when I was a kid, but I can't really remember the difference between 1 and 2. They kind of blended together. Gunstar Heroes. Holy shit. I didn't have Contra growing up. I had fucking Gunstar Heroes. This was one of like the first games I had on the Genesis. You need some video. We need the video. Fucking great game. I cannot. You know how I said Alien Soldier was one of the best? This is the contender. Gunstar Heroes. This is probably actually one of the best run and gun games ever made. It's a contender for that title. Fucking, it's just that good. My mind's going blank at how amazing this is. Okay, you get to choose between either a fixed shoot style or you're able to move around. You get to choose between about, 16 or 30 different types of weapons choices. The bosses are great. It's got a good length. It'll take you about an hour to beat. Really fucking great game. I can't speak highly enough. I think there's only one problem about this game. This game is so good. You look down on every other game you play. That might be one of my problems. I grew up on this. Really, the sound's great. Everything. Graphics are amazing. They jam so much into that game. Hard driven. God, this brings back memories. All the bad memories. This is a first-person driving game. It's so bloody slow. It runs at about half the speed it needs to. And when you crash into things, there's this absolutely hilarious cutscene you see. The music's funny, everything's funny. There's a cow you get to ram. This game is god-awful, but you know something? It's worth a look. It's that bad. Herzog Zwei is another strategy... getting a little tired. Strategy action game. I haven't played this too much. This is one of my more recent pickups. It looked really fun, though. It looked very complicated, to be honest. You have to choose between like a lot of troops you can send out and attack bases, and you get to choose between you get to change between a plane or you get to change into a mech to go on the ground and attack, which is cool. You get to actually attack the other enemies by yourself. You don't need to just worry about your troops. Again, I haven't played it too much, but it looks really good. Kid Chameleon. This is a pretty decent platformer. It's got a lot. It's got too many levels, to be honest with you. I think it racked up into like about 100 levels, I believe. I didn't get to level 100, I can tell you that much. But overall, it was a decent game. I kind of wish they cut down the levels and made the levels a bit more polished. Give me like 30 good levels as opposed to 100. Personal preference. The game got good reviews though. The control's good. The graphics are all right. Sound was I didn't like it too much. Not a bad game. King of the Monsters 2, a fighter game. I didn't really like this one too much. It needed a little bit more polish in my book, or maybe the arcade port was just better of it. I'm not entirely sure. But overall, not bad. It's kind of fun. Getting there. I think we got about 15 more games to go. Landstalker. Again, this is another more recent pickup. I think my cartridge might be a little bit messed up, because part of the screen was kind of like obscured. It's an isometric kind of game. You have like a squares you get to jump around on. It looked pretty good. I need to play it a little bit more before I actually say if it's good or not. Graphics are, they don't look bad in their own right. The sound was okay. The controls definitely took a little bit of getting used to. Again, I haven't played it too much, so I can't give you a final verdict on it. It looked fun though. Mortal Kombat 3. I suck at Mortal Kombat. Out of this world. Just like Flashback, I recommend picking up the Sega CD version. It controls significantly better. It's much quicker. It goes at the frame rate it should, as opposed to this one. But actually, believe it or not, I really like the soundtrack the most of this one. I don't know why that is, but if I had to choose between all the versions I've seen, this one wins in the soundtrack department. I find this is better than Super Nintendo's counterpart. I find this one runs a little bit smoother. I really like Out of This World. Not too many people really do, it seems, anymore, but I find it's a really good, solid game. It's very similar to, Abe's Odyssey or Heart of Darkness, Flashback, games like that. I believe it's worth a look. It's hard. It's a little cheap, too. I mean, nowadays a game like that wouldn't be published. It'd be much more polished. Paperboy 2. Paperboy the sequel. Not bad. If you like Paperboy, you like Paperboy 2. It's pretty much the same thing. They just add a little bit more. It's kind of funny. After you deliver your papers, you go through like this obstacle course. Like, Paperboys really do that every day. It's actually fun. I haven't played it in years, but it was actually really fun. Phantasy Star 2. Sega Genesis isn't known for amazing RPGs. Phantasy Star 2 isn't bad. It definitely suffers from a lot of older RPG norms. It's hard. You get lost in the dungeon so much. That was my main problem with this. I could not figure out my way around, like, the first dungeon. It was huge. Huge! Outside of that, it was a fun game, but it's hard to recommend. Like, if you're going to get an RPG on the Sega Genesis, the Phantasy Star ones are definitely the higher caliber, but just keep that in mind. Phantasy Star 3, I haven't really played too much of. It was out of all three of them on the Genesis, it was probably my least favorite. It didn't click with me the way the other ones did. Not that Phantasy Star 2 clicked too much, but Phantasy Star 4 is a fucking great RPG, believe it or not. Really, it fixed a lot of the problems I had with the previous ones. Graphics are good, controls are good. The story was actually quite interesting too, believe it or not. Really good game. I highly recommend it. Like, this is like, I hate to say it like this is a Super Nintendo quality here. Because Super Nintendo's known for having a lot of great RPGs. At least that's what I believe. Highly, highly recommend it. Take a look at this game. If you didn't like Phantasy Star 2 or 3, and you're probably thinking you won't like the 4, trust me, it's good. Really good. Ren and Stimpy. Haven't played it. Rings of Power. Kinda shit. Woo. One more pile, guys. Road Rash 2. I actually really like this game. This was another one from my childhood. It's of course a racing game. But the unique part about this is you can actually beat the living shit out of all the other contenders. You could punch them, you could whack them with a bat, you can hit them with a chain. Really entertaining stuff. It's a bit of a repetitive game, honestly. I mean, most of the paths are just straightforward, with some turns here and there. Nothing too complicated. But being able to beat the crap out of everyone else, and you're also able to buy new vehicles, which, some would have higher acceleration, higher speeds, better control. Actually, it was a really fun game. This is the only Road Rash I have. I know there's like a third on the Genesis. I'm assuming that's better. Actually, really good game. Rocket Knight Adventures. I haven't played this one too much. I played a few levels in, but it definitely reminds me of some great games. It's got good visuals, good graphics, because visual and graphics are different. Good music, good controls. Really liking this game. I need to play it more. I got to like level 3 or something. Really good, and it didn't really lag on me too much. I'm really looking forward to playing that more. Samurai Showdown 2. Haven't played it too much. Oh wait, this might not be number 2. I thought it was. Might be. Shadowrun. I didn't like this game too much. It's a cyberpunk RPG. It just, like I said, Sega Genesis RPGs really don't click with me too much. I don't know why. But it might be worth a second chance for me. Again, I haven't played it too much, but it just, something about it didn't click with me, like I said. Last 2. Shining Force. I haven't played, this was one of those games that I bought recently. I haven't played it, I played it for like a good hour or two, and it really was good from what I played. I just wish I played it a little bit more, but again, didn't have time. Really liked it. It looked good. The controls were quite nice. And there's Shining Force 2, which, again, I haven't played it too much. I only played this just to make sure it worked. But it looked like it was about the same as Shining Force 1. Maybe they improved some stuff. Wish I played it more before I did this video. Whew! Alright. I'm getting out of air here. So that's about halfway through my Genesis collection. We got about another 30 or 40 box games to go through, then we got about 20 or 30 cartridge-only games. So hopefully I get that video up soon for you. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope it wasn't too boring. Alright, you guys have a good day now.